Hello, everybody. Ugh. So, wanted to come on and go live as I'm gonna be out of commission for the next few days. I'm sorry if my washer is really loud. I'm doing laundry right now. Wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on. See if anyone shows up. If not, this will be aired later. Obviously, it'll be on my channel. So right now, the testing time of the 2020 arrival is really, it's happening right now. We are definitely going through, everyone's journey. It's individual. All of these lessons popping up and things that you're facing are all going to be based on the individual and what you need towards seeing your elevation and your growth. And basically, as I see it, it's retracing our steps to see how far we've come on our journey towards seeing if we can really apply the wisdom to what's gone on. There's also a rise right now in a lot of more healing that's being called for in different ways. That is going to be, once again, varied on the individual. There's a lot of messages coming through right now, so I'm just going to take a second to kind of center and breathe. I started doing a video about this earlier, but that video got canceled out. But anyway, so what's going on is, so we're seeing more of the masculine embodiment coming forward for healing. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about. We're seeing it come out in different ways. Everyone seeks healing in their own way. So this message is going to be a little all over the place because there's a lot coming through right now, just personally. I also have literally a lot of information coming through as I'm talking right now. And I'm going to try my best to have this come out in a semi-wet linear format. It may come out a little quantum, a little all over the place. But so ideally, since we've got people in the room now, thank you all for joining. I welcome you with love and respect in this sacred space of just opening up and kind of revealing what's happening and letting some information come through as I channel it. So right now, basically, the first thing is that we are all going through I don't want to say we all. The individuals that I resonate with and that are in my immediate environment and that I'm speaking with, we're all going through lessons right now. And it's like the universe is like, okay, you've been doing the work, you're on point, like you've been doing the training, here's everything unlocking for you, how are you gonna handle it? A lot of it is really neat because there's some moments that have been happening recently where I can see how I'm handling it right now, how I'm handling the situation, and then I can quickly reflect back to how I handled this the last time it happened, and being able to watch the evolution, which is nice because now I'm able to see what I've been doing on the healing journey towards hi everybody, thank you so much for coming out. I'm able to see more on the journey of like how I'm handling scenarios and how I'm meeting everything with love. And I'm glad that just came through right now because this is the idea. Is that we're shifting out, right now, we're always shifting out older narratives and we're always shifting out older timelines. But if we want to anchor in the highest dimensional timeline and the highest potentiality, we have to meet everything with love. We have to meet everything with unified love and unified compassion. And that means sometimes facing circumstances where you don't want to meet it with love, where you may want to, depending on who you are, you may want to meet it with the eyes of an old narrative, or to judge it, especially when it comes down to how people want to heal. So this is the story of kind of what's happened over the past few days. We're noticing a rise in masculine distortion, the distorted masculine coming to the surface and seeking healing. So a lot of self-worth patterns, more of this stuff. There's a lot of masculine embodiment that I'm picking up on because I do know that is a huge part of my mission, is shifting that out for the collective, as well as my own personal shifting. So we're noticing a rise. So like yesterday, Samantha did a live meditation and clearing, and it was all men, and it was awesome because we're seeing that men are like, there are a lot of masculines that have been doing this work for a while, but now they're starting to show up more. They're feeling like they can show up more and speak more about this, especially the men that have really severe past life warrior trauma that have played out in narratives where they are protecting the divine feminine for the truth that they hold. And especially if they've experienced any trauma that was the catalytic event that created their awakening in this realm. We're starting to see that come to the forefront. And right now, everyone, the idea why I'm saying we need to meet everything with love and compassion is that everyone is going to show that they need healing in their own way. And this ties into what happened over the course of yesterday. So yesterday we did this meditation, and so, by the way, I'm sorry if you hear my washer going. I leave for San Diego today. Yes, it's gonna ease up. I have faith that it's gonna ease up. So my washer is going, so if it's really loud, I apologize. I leave for San Diego today because I have to go do a ceremony to honor my brother's life and scatter his ashes in San Diego. So I'm gonna be gone for 3 days, so this will be my last live stream and any content going up for a little while. But so everyone's seeking healing in their own way. We had these men show up to this healing session, and it was awesome. They've also been showing up to some of Samantha's group clearings. It was all men the other night. So we're seeing that happen, but we're also seeing healing. Oh wow! I didn't know she did a invocation of Jesus today. And this is that rise of the sacred masculine, the divine masculine. I've been noticing a presence of Yeshua a lot more. Recently, as he's stepping in to bring his peace, and a lot more discussion of crucifixion when it comes down to the energetic level of being broken open, and how his death and rebirth is really, it's a transformation that we're all going through. So anyways, I'm going to shift out of that and go back into what I was talking about. The seeking the healing is that some people, their ways of crying for help may be distorted, and maybe because of what we see, especially in the masculine embodiment, how the masculine has had to call out for help. A lot of it has been violent in nature, and this comes down to the phrase that hurt people hurt people. I just caught wind of a high school shooting that happened in California, and then a shooting that happened in my hometown in San Diego. That was, I don't know if the high school shooting was a man or was a masculine embodiment, but the San Diego shooting, I found out, was a man who, it was an estranged wife, and he shot his 4 kids and estranged wife. Last night we felt so there's been a lot of lunar activity at night. It feels like this full moon is carrying on longer than it should as far as the energies are concerned. At night, we're noticing a huge shift, at least here. Samantha and I are both noticing it. Everything changes at nighttime right now. And it seems like the lunar activity is exposing more shadow coming up. Like it's been feeling like the full moon's been kind of carrying out, and this is the energies that we're working with. Last night, we felt a shift. I felt things get really strange. My world felt a little weird. I went outside and a shooting took place just a few blocks from my house. I heard the shooting happen. I heard the car take off. And I immediately came inside and went into prayer position, did a little ceremony speaking my light language, and did a little earth honoring and asked Gaia to help cleanse that energy from this area, so that imprint doesn't stay and we can knock down that potentiality. And this is what I mean about meeting this stuff with love and compassion, is that right now, so like in the past, if that were to happen, I would have freaked out and ran away, just because I hate violence. I do not like violence. I don't think it's a way to handle any scenario in life. I don't think violence is the way of handling. So as far as my discernment and my morals and ethics, it's out of alignment. But when this happened, I chose to send love and blessings to the individual that receive that, as we did hear an ambulance and a fire truck pull up just a few minutes later. But I chose to send love to the individual that fired the shots as well. And this is where those tests are occurring, is that like when it comes down to us anchoring in higher timelines, the idea is with the highest potentiality, we have a choice moment in every single moment of the day how we're going to meet everything that comes forth to us. Sometimes it's unfavorable, and you know, for me, I'm, you know, especially since we're seeing a rise of sexual abuse happening. I'm hearing of more rapes and like molestation stuff going on amongst friends, and a lot of that distortion in narrative is being played out right now and being cleared. But when we recognize, like when we learn to speak to the soul, and we learn to listen to the soul and see the soul, we recognize that the temporal form may be infected with a bunch of viruses, and those viruses we can call attachments, programs, things of that nature, that can then cause this person to react in certain ways. Does it mean that we justify the behavior? No, it's not justified. People need to pay for what they do. In this life of, you know, the way where we have free will and free choice, if you choose to act out violently or to harm another individual, you reap what you sow, and I firmly believe that. But I choose to meet it with the eyes of compassion and love because I want to dissolve that narrative, let go of that fear, and anchor in the highest timeline possible. And so this is what is happening with the tests right now, is we may be met with individuals on a day-to-day basis, and I'm finding a lot of people, it's getting strange right now, where we're encountered with a choice. We're encountered with a choice to either take on a lower road or a higher road with it. And that includes engaging or disengaging from the individual. So, you know, I've had a few moments recently where I've had to disengage, you know, from people because their shadows are coming out in their own way. And they're going through things. We're all going through stuff right now at some form or another. Some is more drastic than others, but we're all going through it. But the idea is, how are we going to handle this? How are we going to handle this? What is the solution for this? And this is where to reach out to your community if you need help. And if someone in your community can't help for whatever reason, find the people that will and hang close to them and unify in this moment. You know, it's really a time to really just see what we're doing in order to anchor in the highest timeline, to take care of ourselves first too, and also how are we going to use our gifts. So this is another thing I wanted to talk about, which is the expansion of gifts and our abilities and your telepathy coming online. This is something that's been happening with me. My psychic abilities have been blasted wide open. My telepathy's online. And this is where I'm learning to tune into. So basically, let's look at it this way. Imagine that your satellite receiver on your TV has finally opened up, and you're receiving all 150 channels, but you don't know which channel you're tuning into because you don't have the remote yet. And what's been going on is it's like my station is constantly, so I'm tuning into my environment, I'm tuning into the collective, I'm tuning into my loved ones. If I'm talking to someone, I'm tuning into them, and learning to dial back the radio station to me. And this is where that inward journey of learning what your soul essence is really important. Hello from South America, how are you? Or South Africa. Oh, I remember you. Hi, you were in the activation. Welcome. So this is where you learn to tune into your soul essence. What you do is call in your unified soul essence, call it forward with intention, and just tune into you. Tune into you. So another thing that I did was I've been, as things have been I've been tuning in more to, like, so last night I was tuning into the energies of the collective around here in my area. I was then tuning into the collective. Also woke up kind of tuning into Samantha's stuff, and then what happens is we start to get scattered, and we need to learn to bring it back within when we are starting to expand in our psychic awareness and our teachings of self. Me, I don't have a psychic teacher. I do have some teachers I'm working with, but a lot of this journey recently has been just figuring it out on my own. And this is where I learned to tap into my soul essence. So I call my soul essence forward, and I bring my soul essence forward, and I tune into it, and I just listen, and I start to drown out other people's stuff, and I start to tune in more to me. because think of it, you're essentially like you're putting out information, but you're also receiving information. There's a constant flow of energy going, and a lot of people right now don't recognize how powerful their gifts are, and they're transmitting a frequency, and we're picking up on it. And we're like, yo, can you know, and in a nice way, we need to create space for them to figure that out. But what we learn to do is just tune back into ourselves, and more not engage with the thought attached to it, and live in the heart and live in the heart space as these abilities are coming online more. You know, especially when there's a lot going on. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is the tests have been, how am I using abilities to help other people? But also how am I encountering my day-to-day choices, with anchoring in the highest timeline? Am I meeting it with love unconditionally? Am I meeting it with compromise? Am I meeting it with compassion? Am I deflating myself to help another individual? And is that really helping the other individual if I'm deflating myself or sacrificing myself? You know, things of that nature. And then this is where, if you've been doing the work, you're going to know what to do. And you're going to have trust and faith, and you're just going to flow into it. And this is where it's, right now is it's a very strange time. I'm kind of laughing about it, because I can't help but to laugh, because it's weird. I'm not going to go into detail about everything, but yeah, it's been a very strange time. So I just wanted to come on and do a quick little live stream, just let people know that the tests are occurring. Meet everything with love and light, if you can, with unconditionally, and recognize that you know what to do. Your soul knows what to do. We've been going through this training for a very long time. We're remembering more and more. We're unlocking more of our gifts, because, you know, we're going to be faced with things in our time that are going to be a little off-putting, a little strange, a little painful to encounter. We're gonna see things and know things and encounter things that are gonna be difficult. But us being warriors of light, protecting the light and protecting the earth and protecting the love, is by meeting it with love. And this is where we learn to harness our inner warrior. The inner warrior is coming to the surface, at least for me, that tribal protective warrior. But this isn't to meet it with war. It is to protect love. It is to protect ourselves. It's to protect the earth. It's to protect all humans with love, and to protect our light, by illuminating it to its fullest potential, accessing our higher gifts, and then taking these teachings that we've gathered and spreading it through the embodiment. And that embodiment entails how we treat other individuals through how we treat ourselves. And how we treat our other individuals is usually a reflection of how we treat ourselves. Another thing that's popping to the surface right now for a lot of individuals is the recognition of what is out of alignment through intake of various foods and chemicals. And then after this, I'm gonna hop off. But like for me, the other day, I had an incident happen where I almost had to go to the ER. Recognizing it's, you know, because I am still vaping, as I completely cut out smoking cigarettes. But the vaping now is getting to me, and you know, I had some interesting heart stuff happen, and so now I have to look at that. I have another friend who's got a way of self-care that they no longer can indulge in because of their circumstances. I have another friend who indulges in their self-care in another way, and that's being seen in the forefront how much it isn't helping. And so this is part of what's happening as we are accessing more and more of our gifts, is we are learning, we are having to learn how we are treating our temple and our body. And it's something that I've gone on and off talking about. Like, I'm like, honor your body, and then I have some videos where I'm talking about eating chicken nuggets, and I'm vaping, and I'm like, just do what you want to do. Well, that's part of my journey. My journey has been trying to figure out what I'm ingesting and what I'm putting in my body, and how my body's starting to reject it, and how I really need to take care of it. And that's been a part of this too, is like I already have that inner knowing, but now it's about application. And if I don't listen to the Spirit's call, and I don't listen to what my intuition is telling me, pretty soon there's going to be a negative body backlash, which happened the other night, where I almost had to go to the ER because I'm not listening. And sometimes when we don't listen to that voice, we get that butt whooping from spirit, however that may be, in order for us to align to the highest timeline and the self-care and self-love that we need to embody. And so this is something I've noticed for a few individuals right now. So as we're going through the transformation and the cellular reorganization, and we are shedding more of our cellular trauma, we're shedding more of the old DNA patterns, and we are really stepping in, and our gifts and our abilities are coming online. The call right now, at least for me, is to just take it really easy. I'm really like, if there's any sort of minor stress right now around me, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't handle it right now. And really putting that to the wayside and setting healthy boundaries, because I cannot save another individual until I learn to save myself. And so that's a balancing process that I have to go through. And this is part of those tests and initiations that are going on. There seems to be a rise in initiations happening as well, where people are stepping more into refining their gifts in whatever way, shape, or form that may be. Some people it may be shamanism, some people it may be, different aspects of shamanism, which is, plant medicine, speaking more to spirit, speaking in tongues or light language, sacred ceremonies, whatever it may be. More people are getting called to that. There is, this inner, I've gone on a few little shaman initiations that weren't guided by I didn't pay for anything and went on some, it basically spirit set me up to go through this initiation. And I'm going through another kind of shaman initiation right now, and this is why it's a call to really take care of my body. And then when I'm meeting these scenarios, like last night when the shooting happened and I heard that, I went and I went to the land immediately, and I called upon my ancestors, and really worked with them and harnessed my inner warrior to kind of help to clear, and my inner medicine man to try to clear that trauma from the land, so it doesn't hold there and we don't keep accessing that potentiality. So it was a little jumbled and all over the place, but I did want to come on and do a little live stream, just talk about what's been going on recently. I am going to be out of town for 3 days. I'm going to go and honor my brother's life and go take care of that, which is, another test too to deal with. Yes, Eric, I'm gonna email you, Eric, because we do need to talk. But yeah, it's been, right now is kind of a testing time, so it's time to soften up, take a deep breath, love yourself unconditionally, love others unconditionally too, in whatever way, shape, or form that may be for you. Everyone's gonna handle this differently. For me, I'm just meeting everything with love, and hoping for the best for everyone. And anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. It's been a little scrambled, and there's a lot of energies in here, and I'm kind of reading everyone's energy and learning how to play with my gifts more. So with that, thank you all for showing up. If you showed up on this live stream, much love and respect to everybody out in the Webiverse. If you haven't, click subscribe. I recorded a bunch of light languages. I recorded 4 different light languages with the new form of light language I'm doing. Those activations are going to be on and available on my website once I'm done editing them. I just need to put some background music to them. But those will be available. You'll be able to purchase them. I don't know a price yet on how much it's going to be for those light languages, but there's going to be a lot more light language coming up, as that's been more of my calling lately. And it's a lot more affordable than some of the energy work I do. And so I want to be able to provide opportunity and services for people at all income levels, just because I like to be all-inclusive, but recognize that if I could do this for free all day and sustain myself, I would, but that's just unrealistic in the economic constructs that we live within right now. And so, unfortunately, even though I recognize that you're an aspect of me and I want to heal you for free, I also want to do this full-time and have an apartment to pay for and food to put in my belly. So that's just the way it is. Anyways, much love and respect to everybody on the Webiverse, and I will see you on the other side. Namaste.